So this is for anyone who's trying to remove injectors from an N47 or N57. In my case, it's a 730 F02 car, straight 6 3-litre diesel. Needs to do the cylinder head cover gasket, which obviously means taking out the injectors, which is a bit of a pain. So if you're struggling, you've got problems, here's a few ideas for getting the injectors out. But what you might find, in my case anyway, I had basically 4 out of the 6 injectors were absolutely fine, no problems getting them out. A couple were a bit annoying, so had to do a bit of trickery to try and get them out. So one thing you can do is, if you take out an injector, if you look at an injector, here we go, you can see there is basically a place where you can put a spanner on the injector. Now this is above the cylinder head cover. There's also a similar thing on the top near where you would put an injector puller. So you can just see there, you could actually get a spanner in there and give the injectors a bit of a wiggle. So if you look at what I did here, is this is a stock injector. Now with a 12mm spanner, as we said, just get it there, just under the threads at the top. Get the spanner on, and then see if you can wiggle the injector around. Now with the other ones that were quite loose, you could literally just pick up the plastic part and just turn it, and it was absolutely fine. But with this thing, because it was so stuck, that just wasn't happening. So my thoughts here are, get a 12mm on there, see if you can just wiggle the injector around a little bit, get a bit of WD-40 in there, and leave it to sit for a while. But just kind of wiggle it backwards and forwards. You can't turn it too far. You don't want to break the plastic part, the connector or the return part at the top. But just get it on there and wiggle it around a little bit. I needed a longer spanner than this one. You can see I'm struggling with this because it was really, really tight. Just put a slightly longer bar on it, and you'll be able to move that around with 2 hands as well. Obviously, not holding the camera up, you'll be better. Now another option is, let's get a screwdriver in there or something to try and lever it out. So if you remember from the picture of the ejector, there's another notch on the side, and what you want to do is balance the screwdriver on the bolt which holds the cam cover down. Now that screws into the cylinder head, so that's basically tight. You know, that can take a fair amount of pressure. You just need to be very careful not to lever it too much and slip, and then possibly break the plastic parts of the injector on the top. If you break that, it's lights out, you're knackered, you need a new injector. And these injectors aren't cheap, they're something like 200 quid GBP, so in dollars they're probably similar, $250, $300 maybe, something like that, depending on where you get them from. So that's just a thought as to how you might help to get the injectors out. Now they are a bit of a pain. Some of them were fine for me. They're just literally a little bit of a twist on the plastic side, and they popped out, no problems. A bit gummed up, but they still popped out, no problems at all. So can't really complain too much. Now this one did turn out to be really quite stuck, and even after twisting it around, putting some WD-40 down there, trying to lift it with a screwdriver and a crowbar carefully, but with a fair amount of force, it still wouldn't come out, and it was really, really stuck. So what we'll do now is we'll show you how to buy a tool, just an injector remover. Now this injector remover was really, really surprisingly cheap. It was only about £15 GBP. So you're talking, what, $20 US. So well worth its money. Absolutely, no question. It's solidly built. It works fine. And we'll just look at how I managed to get the injector out. And once it comes out, you'll see why we have problems with it. So here it is mounted. There's a big weight there. You just literally give it some wrist action, give it a good tug, and then the injector just loosened quite happily. Here we go. Boom. There we are. It's out. And then you can see how gummed up this thing is. Obviously had oil leaking past the head cover, and you can just see the copper O-ring there on the left hand side. Look how much grime is in there. That's basically engine oil that's dripping down. It's just been gummed up, and some sort of corrosion on the cylinder head. Bit of a mess, but that'll give you an idea of what I did. That's how I got the injectors out. If you're struggling, hopefully you'll get them out without buying the special tool. If you need to buy the tool, I say it really cheap. Don't buy an expensive set for the N47 or the N57 engines. There's no need to get an expensive tool. Just get that thing in there and give it a bit of a pull, and you'll be away. Lovely magic. There's all sorts of videos about doing this, the cylinder head cover gaskets, reseating injectors. When you put them back in, you do need to be very careful about reseating them. There are plenty of videos on YouTube. I'll let you go and find those. This is just a quick one to say, here's a few ideas for trying to get injectors out. Hopefully it helps. Let me know if it does. Thanks all.